Yes, guys, welcome back to Bala Sport TV. 2026 FIFA World Cup is officially come to an end. And the tournament has been one of the best tournaments, in my opinion. And I'm going to get you guys' take on that. What you guys think, would this be the best World Cup ever? Spain are world champions after defeating Argentina 1-0, while England third place. Torres in 106 minutes. I'm laughing because I'm thinking about Argentina, for the fact they're so entitled to this FIFA World Cup. I know there's a Messi fan here. He's gonna go down as the GOAT, but I'm gonna ask you a lot of questions about that. But we're gonna get straight to it, man. George, Quincy, welcome back to Bala Sport TV, man. How you guys doing?
Good, man.
Good, bro.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, man, to all the people out there.
Fellas, the World Cup is over with, man.
All
Damn.
right.
It went by fast, don't you guys think?
Yeah,
Yeah.
good tournament still.
We gotta break this down. There's a lot to break down. The biggest moments and of course the finals.
Did football win?
I can't believe it.
Did
Spain did it
football?
again, man. Spain is on top of the world again. Spain has put themselves in a position where we get to say, this is what football is all about. And to see how they do it throughout the whole game, what is in defense, allowing one goal throughout the whole tournament and end up winning by one goal against the defending champs. So, George, I'm going to start with you with this. The football won with Spain beating Argentina 1-0.
I mean, yes, I think everybody was, apart from people from Argentina, about 90% of the world's population that enjoys soccer were looking forward to Argentina losing, not because they were not a good team, but mostly because of their antics and people grew tired of everything that they were doing. At the end of the day, if you watch the final game, there was one team playing soccer or football, and there was the other team trying to survive the whole 90 plus minutes. So you could put it football won, yes, but I think that justice was served would be the right term to use because it's given all the controversies and everything that went on this World Cup, I think Spain were deserving winners.
We'll see. Argentina showed up. They did the thing throughout the whole tournament. Of course, same question, matter of fact. Let me stick with the same question because I want to hear you. This football one.
Yes, for the world's sake, from the controversy we've been seeing as football fans, I believe football won. But I didn't think Argentina stood a chance against a very put together team like Spain because of how Argentina were winning leading up to this match. I was seeing that they've been dominated in spurts of certain matches where they're a team that know how to suffer, and they were trying to get to maybe penalties in this match. So you can only suffer so long against Spain, and going down with a red card also didn't help them. But yeah, I believe football did win, and yeah, Argentina were just getting by the matches leading up to the game. So Spain came with a game plan, and Spain have a very organized tiki-taka system that since they've won the World Cup, it hasn't really gone anywhere. They've just been recycling players to get the right group to come back and win it again. And this is what has happened. They have a very responsible group with a player like game manager like Rodri and these guys that they know how to move the ball and keep the ball. And it's basically like you see Messi playing against his own old Barcelona kind of style, whereas that's what he's facing. So it's going to be very hard for a player like him to play against that with a team that Argentina, they're not coming to play. They're just coming to out rough you. And then when they get their chance, take it. Not against Spain. They're too well put together. So football did win in my eyes.
You mentioned Messi, and we can't. It's so hard to criticize the man after everything he has done for this league. You know what I'm saying?
No
Especially
criticize.
in this game. No, I'm just
No,
saying.
I am going to criticize him.
Talk to me.
I don't.
Go ahead.
I don't.
Go ahead, George. Let me hear you.
I mean, I think Messi has benefited a lot from the good guy persona that everybody kind of put on him. And even if you ask people go to the extent of their debate on who is the greatest based on seeing Ronaldo as arrogant and seeing Messi as this good and great guy.
Angel.
But what this World Cup showed us was the opposite of what people has been saying about him, right? There are countless number of he took advantage of the fact that the Argentinian national team were favored over every other team, and they took as a team they benefited from it. But as an individual player, people don't criticize Messi a lot But he was the reason why Argentina was struggling in the final, because somebody gave me this advice. They said that you cannot accept some habits that you in winning that you would not otherwise accept in losing. So if Messi was any other player, would he have stayed on the field for 120 minutes? Walking. No. Two, look at the disciplinary issues that was associated with the Argentinian team. Are we going to exclude Messi from everything? He was supposed to be the leader. And if that team is doing what they were doing, are you going to tell me Messi didn't approve of what they were doing? To the point that even when the Spanish team were presented with the trophy, what happened to the Argentinian team? They turned their back on the Spanish team. Where was Messi in that? So to me, I don't buy this. You can't criticize him because he's the good guy. I, for one, I haven't really, I see him as, he is a great, great, great talent. Probably, arguably the best that has ever played soccer. But for the fact that we are not going to say anything about him and the attitude and character of the Argentinian team, it just gets on my nerve. And even the one that it was just so absurd that when the Argentinian team, Enzo got a red card, look at what happened between him and the Spanish guy. What is his name? Cucurella.
Cucurella, yep.
He was literally trying to tell you that the guy, either he was something on his lips, he didn't cover his lips. He just touched his lips with 2 fingers. Then he went straight looking for VAR. Trying to see, hey, review this, but this guy covered his lips talking to me to get him a red card. Come on, man. Come on. That is way beyond what, for me, that was the point that I lost a lot of the good guy respect from Messi. You don't do that trying to get another player sent off when you actually know that he didn't cover his mouth. And trying to get the referee's attention, trying to get VAR attention just to send this guy off because he touched his lips with 2 hands, trying to explain a situation to you. That was absurd. And to me, that I am not a Messi fan and I am not criticizing his play, but some of the attitude that the Argentinian national team showed on the field, you cannot tell me Messi does not approve of it. And that
Right.
we have to criticize all the other guys and leave him out of what they showed on the field.
Well said. And I 100% agree with everything you say, man. Like when I mention about not criticizing Messi, I'm talking about like as what he has done for the game, but the Argentina behavior was gonna be my next question. How did they behave in this tournament? I feel like they were so entitled to everything to the point where in the finals now they got a referee who said, yo, the world is watching. Maybe FIFA just be like, yo, we just got to get them to the finals because everything Argentina did in the finals, that's what it was doing every game.
Mm-hmm.
And this one, you mentioned this even last time when the last episode when they beat England. England play into the hand, but responding physically, but they trying to fight back. But Spain just play football. This is why football won. Spain didn't get themselves involved into all this antic that Argentina trying to throw them because they're trying to play the mind game of how tough we are, how we could fight anybody, and FIFA, and we able to get away with it because FIFA probably gonna Messi. They use Messi as a blanket. So this is why I'm gonna go straight to my boy Enzo Fernandez. I love the Chelsea boy. I love his passion. But in this tournament, especially in this final, what he did, that was disgraceful. That was embarrassing. He's not, for me personally, I said this in the Chelsea group, he's not even worth being a captain or vice captain of the Chelsea Football Club based on his behavior, especially in these finals, man. Some of the things that he says after the England match, you're going back to England. You're going to a team who just had a discipline issues last season. Chelsea has the most red card. At time we got it's like every game or every other game, a player is having a red card. And you were one of the captains when Reece James was hurt. And this is exactly, so now when I think about it, like, yo, do you know how Chelsea season is going to be next season? Based on what Enzo Fernandez has done, it's disgraceful. The whole Argentina players, man. I never disliked Argentina so much like the way I did in these finals. It was not called for. I'm not criticizing Messi as a player. But as an individual, as you mentioned, as a leader of the football club, every time your team win or any, even a game or a tournament, there's this racist banners that comes with it. And you are part of those. But the media will execute Messi out of everything and blaming everybody else. But I guarantee you, if this would have been Cristiano Ronaldo, what do we always criticize him for? He doesn't come back to play defense. He doesn't move around enough. But
That
Messi
is
is
my
done in the
point.
finals.
That
I
that is
agree. That's why I
that's
agree with everything that
exactly
you
my
say.
point. Because we are looking at it, and to me, I look at it from two angles, right? And everybody is quick to blame the Argentinian national team for that. But the majority of the blame falls on the officiating of their games. Since last year, you remember their game against the Dutch national team in 2022, right? Where the same guy, Paredes, fouled somebody and he kicked the ball straight into the Dutch bench. That it was a red card, but they let it play, right? And because they understand how much they can get away, they kept pushing the limit. They kept doing the same thing over and over. And if you in a tournament like this, if you are the most fouling team with the least cards or the least caution, that becomes a little bit of controversy behind it, right? And even in the final, on 3 occasions that McAllister could have been shown a yellow card or could have been shown a red card, but they let them play. So to me, I think that the governing body of officiating and FIFA as a whole were also enabling them in their attitudes and the things that they did. It wasn't mostly the officiating, it is how far they could go with what they were doing. And even after the game, to the point of them attacking the Spanish team and
Exactly.
FIFA coming out and going, there was nothing wrong with what they did and nobody's getting punished. So tell me, in the next tournament, if they do the same thing, are you going to punish them?
That's why they keep doing it.
Or this thing only applies to African countries
Mhm.
to the point that they could show something political, but you wouldn't let Haiti put a political thing in their jersey. But you allow Argentina to show something political in the stadium, right? So we can blame Argentina all we want, but majority of the blame goes to FIFA for enabling what they were doing. And they knew that these are things that we could take advantage of, and they exploited over and over and over to the point of being physical after the game. And still, nobody's going to be punished for that. So what next are we supposed to expect from them? Killing somebody on the field?
Dude, that's all that's left for them to do now at this point. Because even the game against England, like into the game, Anderson got like really knocked by Enzo. I think it was Enzo right back of his head. They didn't even review that.
No.
Argentina be carried into these finals by the officials and FIFA. And that's the reason, like, I think you were for president, boycott, blah, blah, blah. That's a story for another day. But really though, if you really a football fan, as much as we love football players, like we don't have to support the country of Argentina, but we know when Messi's on the field.
Mm-hmm.
We want to watch him play. We love the game of football, but Argentina making it to the finals and acting exactly the way they act, I am so happy they got exposed in the final like the way they did. This was embarrassing performance.
It's much bigger than
Dude,
football.
there was no football being played from these guys. And you from South America. What do we know South Americans are for? Playing the ball. Yes, they're angry. Yes, they do that. But when you talk about Brazil, talk about all this movement, they play ball. Yes, the anger and the passion is there, but Argentina choose to be actors in a movie. This was like a role for them. They had no shame on doing it.
They didn't.
And it's so embarrassing to actually speak here to talk about a guy that has done so much to the game and the team that he lead in the finals, which he didn't show up at all. Messi's goals all comes from Algeria, who was Egypt, right? Did he score against Egypt?
Yes.
Yes, right? Yeah, but then when it comes to Switzerland, England, or even the final 3, he had nowhere to be found in these finals. You went to 107 minutes or so before you had to take one shot and it was nothing on target because now you're down. FIFA can't save them. FIFA couldn't save them in these finals, bro. Spain was just too outclassed. And I don't even think that Spain break a sweat except for
they did try to save them. They did try to save them.
The foot, the foul.
Yeah, I am saying that if that is a foul on a goal, then we got to go all the referees that officiated a lot of our games. They owe us an apology because you cannot, at this point, I don't know whether the officials are bad or VAR is just there to expose the corruptness of FIFA. I don't know which is which, because you cannot, in the right sense of the game, call that a foul.
In a World Cup final.
In a World Cup final.
This is another thing too, like, you see how he stepped on, just a little step, you see how the player fly like the war about to end. Like Argentina players would do that and they turn around and want to smack you in your stomach, want to punch you in the thing. No, it's like
That is
somebody tell them that like you gotta do this for you guys to win.
that is what I didn't like or enjoy about the Argentinian national team. Is I am all for physical play, right? But don't turn into victims if somebody retaliate. And even on the goal, he didn't do that on purpose. He was going backwards and he stepped on his feet. He stepped on his left foot and he fell down holding his right knee. You cannot be the villain and at the same time turn into the victim. That is my concern with Argentina, is that they show this tough guy mentality, and the moment the other team start fighting back, they go down to being the victims.
The victim. We got Messi, such a good citizen. He's a face
is
of the
not.
day. Bro, Messi, though, the thing that really pissed me off, another thing that pissed me off is the fact that like I mentioned earlier, the fact that players are using Messi
Mhm.
as a getaway card.
It's a getaway card for them. Yes.
Bro, come on now.
Yes.
We don't. We did. They have no. The midfield was so dominated to the point where, like, I know Enzo. I watch him in Chelsea. Whenever he's been outplayed, he get angry. He want to get in everybody's face. Yes, it feel good to see somebody had a passion and want to stand up and fight. But dude, like, when are you gonna show yourself technically on the ball to say you're a true number 8? Roger was doing it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing, like, when I heard Chelsea fans going crazy about, oh, that was not a yellow card. I'm like, what game are you guys watching? It's okay for us to talk. Yes, we sit here, like earlier we just talking before we start recording about how I'm defending Chelsea signing it, blah, 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 blah. But at some point when it comes to the football aspect of the game, bro, there's nothing to defend Enzo about.
There was nothing.
Nothing at all, man. They using Messi as a getaway card. It's so pathetic to the point where, like, man, if FIFA doesn't do something about this, bro, man,
The question for you is that the tackle that led to the second yellow and the red card, do you think Enzo would have done that at Chelsea? Or he thought he would get away with Argentina? That's why he did that.
thought he would get away.
That is the question. Because if you remember, McAllister did the same thing in the first half on Dani Olmo, and he got away with that without a
Yeah.
card.
Yeah.
So the main question is, would he have done that if he was playing for Chelsea? Or did he think because he's playing for Argentina and they could get away with anything and everything, that is why he went into the tackle like that?
I agree.
And that is the problem. Because I don't think he's going to come to Chelsea and play the same way at Chelsea. But when they get to Argentina, for some reason, they think they can bully everybody and turn into a victim if you decide to fight back. And
I'm
to
glad
me,
that they faced. I'm so happy they faced Spain because
yeah,
Spain was mentally they're disciplined. They're so
that was the highlight of the game for me. The discipline of the Spanish team. They didn't fight. They didn't come in. They just played their game. Couple of times I thought Lamar is going to do something when the guy they were pushing him, stepping on him, but he didn't say a word. They just kept playing their game. I was disappointed the game went overtime. I thought they would get a couple goals within the 90 minutes, but then it just Spain, they just make games difficult for themselves. Even though they know that you can't score on them, they kind of struggle to score. For some reason, I don't know what it is.
they don't have a true number 9s up front, man. And probably that's what helped the game out too, because you gotta look at it. Even when you have Iniesta, Xavi, all these guys that never really was true number 9. And I think if maybe Morata was there coming off the bench with a crosses, he's good in the air, but his time is up. But man, the way Spain did this game, bro, man, I love it. I would just wish they would at least score 3 goals. So it would have been a belt to ass.
I
And
wish they did that.
that would have been so crazy, man. Spain has announced themselves, bro.
Yeah.
International football, they're gonna be here for a long time.
And
And
they're
the
not
next
going
World
anywhere
Cup is
soon.
gonna be.
They are not going anywhere soon.
They're not going anywhere, man.
They are going to
They gotta
have
host the next World Cup. They're still young.
they were going to have about 80% of their guys coming back for the next World Cup because they're not going to go anywhere.
Wow, that's something that.
Yeah.
So, bro, man, like when you look at it overall, was this one of the best World Cup tournament ever?
Yes, I think for the tournament itself, it was. If you look at the previous World Cups, I think this is going to be top 2 I think it's going to be top two because it was successful in a country where soccer is probably the fourth or fifth best sport in the US. The World Cup actually brought it brought a different perspective to people that have not been following soccer or football in their life. So when you see people that hasn't followed soccer for in their life talking about a World Cup, a situation that happened in the games or something, or a storyline that tells you that it has reached a lot of people. You can talk about the controversies that happens in the games, and to me, I think controversies are part of the game. I'm not going to fault the officials VAR for making bad calls because those are part of the game.
Yeah.
I don't think those are the reason why somebody won or lost or the reason why you would say the tournament wasn't successful. To me, I think overall, looking at people, the excitement the tournament brought people, and the amount of eyes that were drawn to the tournament, and people that haven't even been following soccer, now following soccer, want more of the tournament. I think if you take into consideration the overall activities, the involvement, I would say is going to be top two because I wasn't present in the early 80s, so I wouldn't say it's the best, but I think that top two, I would say if it's the best within the last 5 World Cups that have been
Right.
put. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, say, I call it. I think it's the best in my opinion. Although I started watching it in '94, like you said, we wasn't
Mm-hmm.
really in the '80s, so we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But for the fact that in today's DNA, in today's world, where we got technology, where the world get to see, where America get to see what the world really, 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 really is about. It's not just like what everybody thinks, the
Mm-hmm.
closed minded or whatnot. Like
Mm-hmm.
you mentioned, a lot of people know about the FIFA, not World Cup. They all follow guys that I never heard talk about soccer. They actually engage into the conversation. They actually expressing how they feel. They're actually talking about the fans, the culture, the what is a Scotland fan going to Boston drinking all the beer. You
The
know what I'm
heat.
saying? Like, you know, the Netherlands fans matching down the street. Or you got a
Uh-huh.
Ghana, you know, what I mean, coming out here with the drums, and we all just, you know,
Uh-huh.
just the excitement of the culture that people are really get to see. You know, hey, for me, is a plus. And social media everywhere. So now you go over to watch and see what Cape Verde did. And although some
Mm-hmm.
of the guys might talk about the women because they're seeing in the pictures and videos or whatnot, but it just all that storyline that just comes with it, and it
Yeah.
happens in the right country, a country that's going through all of this about immigration,
Yeah.
country that just seeing different part of president elections based on point of views or not.
Mm-hmm.
No politics there, but we all here. We see what's going on,
Mm-hmm.
and then to see how people come to see America, even African Americans get to see that it's okay because there's other black players that playing for Sweetland. There's another black players that's playing for Spain.
Mm-hmm.
Like all this is happening into it happens at the right place,
Yeah.
which is America. This moment that we're living in. So for me, this World Cup is just bigger than soccer because it's open up every gate that you could think about for people to open their mind what the war is about, and it shows that, and it was entertainment. There's a lot of controversy, like you say, but that's part of the game,
It's all
and
part
some
of the
people could
game.
mention about some people go throughout the whole tournament watching Messi did Messi magic, and it's like, damn, the finals, what happened? This is
Uh-huh.
what the game brings because now you get to play against the team, technically, discipline, everything you could mention, man. What a football team's supposed to be about. And then one more thing I got to say before we move on to the next one. It's like I don't want to hear no conversation about what's the greatest sport in the world is.
I don't. I
This
don't.
has just been nailed.
I killed that conversation long time ago. I think
This conversation is dead.
one thing that was disappointed with the World Cup is that this was the World Cup that we didn't get the Cinderella story
Yeah.
in the World Cup. We didn't have.
You think so?
I think we didn't get that, Cinderella story. That is the team that nobody expected to be there being going there, right? So, for instance, last 4 years, nobody expected Morocco to do that. So it kind of got everybody involved in the tournament, right? And I think 2018 was Croatia. Nobody thought Croatia is going to go that far. And then 2014, I think it was Colombia, right? And the 2010 was Ghana going that far. So it was mostly this one mostly came out and the big boys were just the big boys. And if you look at the top 6 goal scorers were people that we already know. We had the expectations about them.
So the stars show up, man. It's Hollywood, man. It's the
Yeah.
United
So
States
the
of
stars
America. The
showed
stars
up.
showed up.
So that was the only thing that I was like, who stood out outside the stars, like somebody that we didn't even know that stood out, apart from, I mean, Cape Verde came in, they did their thing, but they were
That's what I was about
out
to say. So don't
early.
you think that's a similar story that team that never qualify for the World Cup? You got a population that nobody even knows about. You
That
got
was
guys
a
coming up to me
good
there. Cape
that
Verde's
was
in
a good
Africa.
story. That was a good story, but a Cinderella story needs to go to quarterfinals, right?
Gotcha.
Put people at the edge of their seat. Could they make it to the semifinals? Or when push comes to shove, somebody could just say they are going to win it, like Morocco did last year. Morocco did, 4 years ago. Like, people were looking at them and going, they might win it. But with this one, they all lost in the round of 32. So after the round of 32, there was no like a small no, that is not the right word to use. There was not a Cinderella story of a team that we were thinking they shouldn't be here, but they were here. If you look at the round of 16, all the teams that were there were supposed to be there. Quarterfinals, all the teams that were there were supposed to be there.
Okay.
Semifinals, all the teams that were there were supposed to be there. So it wasn't more of somebody that we all didn't expect making their way all the way to round of 16 or making their way all the way to the quarterfinals. That is what I'm saying is we didn't get that feeling of once in a lifetime story coming out of this World Cup.
And again, though, the European teams dominate because there's three out
Yeah.
of four that made it to the final four.
Yeah,
Get that,
it's
man. But
always there.
some of these stories that happened though in this World Cup,
Mhm.
man, it's amazing though, especially what Cape Verde done. And shout out to the African nations, and it was what 9 out of 10 that qualified to the round of 32.
Mhm.
That's also the plus, 'cause it's not just I think by continent. If you look at it, we went farther collectively than a lot of, but of course we didn't win it. It doesn't really matter because Europe got more team in
Yeah.
it. And Argentina, would you say they overachieve or they underachieve?
Argentina?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they overachieved. I don't. So with your team, if you take Messi out, right? Do the analysis. If you take Messi out, who will that team be? If he was responsible for about 90% of their goals, just him. So if you take him out, what other name do you have on their team that you are going to say this is a world-class player? How many world-class players do they have on their team? So to me, if I take Argentina and I take England, I will say that England had a better individual players than Argentina, but Argentina had a better team than England. Because
Yeah, so you're looking at it based on individuals, not collectively as a team.
that is correct.
Okay.
Because individually, if you look at their team, you will say that based on the individual players, they overachieved. But if you look at them as a team, they have overachieved as a team given the last 4 tournaments that they've played. Because this is their first loss. It wasn't a loss. The loss in the overtime. I don't overtime losses. You played the full 90, you didn't lose. So basically, this is the first time they've not won a major tournament in the last 4 tournaments that they've played. And they've kept the core of their team over the 4 tournaments. So in a team wise, I think they did achieve what they were expected to achieve. But if you look at them as individual players, I think that France had a better team than them, better players than them. Spain had better players than them. England had better players than them. Even Portugal had better players than them, right? So when I look at the individual players, I think that they overachieved as individual players, but as a team, I think they achieved as much as they have over the last 4 years.
Yeah, I would agree with you for the referees and the FIFA didn't carry them all the way here. So,
You have to create. I mean, I know I am contradicting myself when it comes to them, but sometimes I also think you have to create your own luck.
true.
right? You
Yep,
you
yeah.
have to you play within the rules. And if you are going to allow me to do what I'm doing, I'm still playing within the rules. They didn't start the game 1-0 up.
I
They were
I'm not a huge fan of how Argentina has won the games. Well, how the games win, but I
uh-huh.
respect how they won the games. Excuse me. You know how the games, because it's always something that happened before they make that magic run. There's something that you could see like, yo, damn, the referee should have given a card over there.
That is
And then
true.
what happened? And the magic happened. But so thank God they like mentioned. Thank God they faced Spain, who's more disciplined, because the
Mhm.
rest of the teams that they faced wasn't disciplined. Thomas Tuchel for England basically just give up the whole coaching playbook and say, you know what? I don't know what else to do right now. I don't know my players. So Argentina take the game, and Argentina will say, you know what? Thank you for the opportunity, and they capitalize that and do what they did. But Spain, though, man. If it is any time, it's like 1998. The reason why I fell in love with France. This is what Spain had done for me.
Yeah, I
It's
think I
crazy.
think what I was scared of was that Spain had a lot of young players, and I thought they were going to lose their head. But they showed the level of maturity that a lot of the other teams that had mature players didn't. Like the English team, right? Spain were calm in what they were doing. They just decided not to let the Argentina national team antics kind of get in their head or get in their way of what they were doing. They just played their game as they were supposed to play. Even when some calls didn't go their way, you didn't really see them complain to the referee or cry over a call. They just kept playing the game like we know how they can play. And to me, that is their maturity. That was my takeaway in the final game, is their level of maturity that these guys showed. They had two teenagers starting.
Yeah. And one of them won the player, your best young player.
Yes. So if you look at the Spanish team, I think for me, that is why I am still tipping them to win the next World Cup. Is even with the lack of experience, they show the maturity that most teams were not able to show when they played against Argentina.
That's why I believe Spain overachieved. Like you
Mhm.
mentioned, the young, and we didn't expect them to, but the way Rodri got them playing, man,
Mhm.
this guy, the captain, you need a player that could go lead by example. And the only time we could ever say this against Messi didn't do that. So, like, I know the England versus France game was the third place, and France come out looking like they was disinterested. England feel like they got something to prove based on what they did against Argentina, but all the nonsense, whatnot. But with that game included all the games in the tournament, who you think was your best player of the tournament?
The best player?
Yeah, well, like I don't know, like I don't want to say it that way. Like, who was your player of the tournament? Should I say?
I think hands down is Rodri. I don't know why people is have been arguing about it. Yes, people are arguing because they are looking at what Messi did for Argentina, and the game is played 50% of the time in the defense, 50% of the time in the offense. How many times did Spain concede? One, the whole tournament. Who was the main player in their midfield that kept the team going? So yes, he didn't pop up to score goals, but he controlled games. He is the
Zero
reason why
goals, zero assists,
yeah.
but he controlled the game. Yeah,
Yeah, he is the reason why they conceded only one goal in the whole tournament. So if you are looking at it and you are going, this guy, he didn't show up here to score. He didn't lead the team to win. They won by not conceding a goal. If you look at it, if you look at the analysis of a game, if you look at any game analytically, if we start a game, we are starting 0-0. If I don't concede a goal, I finish the game with 1 point. So Spain did what they were supposed to do every single game. They conceded one goal in the whole tournament. So you cannot look at Rodri and go, hey, he didn't perform. He was the main guy for them in the middle. So you cannot look at him and look at a winning team and question why they gave the best player to the team that didn't lose a game one. They conceded only one goal in the whole tournament. I wouldn't even have cried if they gave it to their goalkeeper or they gave it to their
right.
center back. It's
Well, the
it's
goalkeeper didn't have much to do because
there is a reason why the goalkeeper didn't have much to do. There was a statistics that said that he made 10 saves in the whole tournament,
right,
and Emi Martinez made
11.
11 or 13 saves just in the finals. So yes, there is a reason why Spain was that good. And he didn't show his brilliance in scoring goals. He showed his brilliance in controlling the games in Spain, in the Spanish team's favor. So for me, hands down, he was the best player. And even in the final, he was the best player.
Spain, out of all the awards is being given, Spain 3 out of 4.
Can I say
Like
something about the third and fourth game?
Go ahead.
So that is the game that I think, this is my theory. This is the controversial take. That was the American game. That was the game that they were giving to the Americans. And that was the game that was scripted. To me, this is the game. Because what is the argument that Americans have about soccer?
Or just like they said in the finals, they did all these positive things throughout the whole tournament. Right.
Yeah. And then we come into a third and fourth place game. These guys are professionals. And for somebody to say they didn't want to play doesn't make any sense. This is why they made it to the tournament. And if you look at the game, first half was for England, the second half was for France. Do you know how many tackles was made by the French team in the first half?
They didn't even look like they belong in the World Cup.
0. The second half, they started playing, and within 20 minutes, they scored 3.
Right.
So to me, that game was more of something scripted for the American that didn't think soccer was fun. They had to give them something to say, hey, you see this? We could score more goals in soccer. But the true soccer fans will look at this game and say this was the worst game of the tournament.
Yeah.
You look at the final game and you go, that game was 0-0 at the end of the game, but that was the best game.
That's why I agree with you, Roger, being the player of the tournament, rightful so he won it, based on how you control and dictate everything that you mentioned. But when you look at it from the entertainment part of it,
yes,
you got a
he's
guy
not
like
an entertainment player.
You gotta, I think that Mbappe, as great as he is, we know like right now, some might just say he's the best player in the world based on his performance, how he show up. Mbappe did show up though, because he scored against teams that really are top teams. And they also got 4 assists. And if Olise would have had his scoring boot on, probably England would have still been 4th place. Would have been 3rd. Yeah, so
I don't know. It's controversy. Did they split it for 6-4? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, now there's another thing that a lot of football fans like us or many people complain about, the halftime show, right? Should the halftime show become part of the World Cup identity?
Yes and no. Yes, because the World Cup is it is the festival of all soccer, right? So it's the peak of soccer is the World Cup. So people there should be more entertainment associated with it that comes with it. So you are looking at it from that standpoint and you are going, okay, there's nothing wrong with having a 30 minutes show for a World Cup final. The other side of the argument that you are looking at is these players are not used to 30 minutes breaks.
Right.
They are used to 15 minutes. So how does that impact the game? And this was the first time we had a 30 minutes break for a World Cup final. Did you realize that the Argentinian team were done after the first half? They had no energy coming back. Could a 30 minutes break have affected them?
Or help them.
Right? So you are looking at it from 2 standpoints. And to me, I think people need to come to the realization that soccer now is money. And you cannot separate both. It is going to be like this. It's going to move forward like this. It's going to be all commercial related because we are paying 150 million for players now, 200 million for players now. That means, yes, the teams need to be making those money to be able to pay these players. The TV rights are going up. The TV money is going up. And these TV stations need to make their money. So it's commercially, I think that it is something that is here to stay. But if you are looking at it from the standpoint of a player, would you want a 30 minutes break in a highly competitive game like the World Cup final? There is no other final like the World Cup final. It doesn't matter. Champions League, there is no final like that. And you don't want anything outside what the players are used to. And that includes giving them a 30 minutes break, which some players go cold even after the 15 minutes, let alone 30 minutes, because they are not used to that, right? So commercially, it was good for FIFA and it was a good entertainment, but to the soccer players that are playing, I don't think it helped them in any way.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't interfere with the game, like you mentioned. But I think the halftime show is really it's gonna attract new audience. Like you watch NFL, most people watch the Super Bowl because they want to see Beyonce perform. They want to see
But
this
they are
great.
used to it though.
Yeah, yes, they used to it based on marketing wise, yes. But
No, I mean,
I
the
get that.
players themselves are used to it, so they
Right,
know
true,
and they
true, true,
prepare for it.
true. So now I think that I don't know if it's gonna happen the next World Cup or not, but if
Mhm.
it does, and then there's let's say some Spanish artists that that just wanted that everybody loving, I think that that's gonna attract what a fans. Well, I don't think Americans would be more attractive to it because it's not in America, but but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
But I think
yeah.
that happening in America here, the halftime show, the way it happens, I think it
Mhm.
was the right thing to do
Yes, yes, yes.
based on what Americans are used to. This is why I never want to say something's Americanized, especially through this tournament because it's happening in America. And we
Mhm,
see what happened in Qatar when he was there. I think they also got to lean into their culture a little bit more.
mhm, mhm.
Where they banning some things based on religious belief or not. So in America is wide open, and one of the most crazy things is really to see that America has put the power when they see that a red card has been overturned, the next president making a phone call, be like, yo,
Oh God,
this is
yeah,
my country, bro. What we doing?
yeah.
So yeah, so like I get that, but moving forward, maybe it might not happen, but I think this time it happening, I don't mind it. And the players probably might affect some of the older players. Who knows? Probably does, probably didn't.
Mhm.
Probably Argentina needed that break because it seemed like they wasn't funded. Nothing. Even when they got the break, they still couldn't done anything. So
Too much rest can also affect you now.
yeah, yeah. But also if you know there's a 30 minute, you
Huh?
better be out there warming up.
I am good with 10 minutes break for me, but if it getting 20 minutes thereabout, my body is giving up already. Yeah, Argentina had the old team, Spain had a young team. So if you're looking at it, the second half of the game, how many passes Argentina did they even connect?
Because that's how Spain played the whole tournament.
Because
You
they are
the minute
young.
you touch the ball, they're on you.
The Spanish team is young, so they could sit for 2 hours and come back and play.
So you don't think that it probably might affect them well, he didn't show in the game because it was mentally
Young.
different playing.
When we
Yeah,
were
yeah, yeah.
young, we could wake up in the morning and the game is still on. We don't even stretch and we are off going. Now I have to stretch for like 45 minutes before I get on the field. Even that I need the game to warm me up for like 15 minutes before I get going.
Right. That's like me the other day. I think that, yeah, I did. I run for 5 miles. I said, yeah, I did it. Then the minute I sit down, bro, I don't remember what happened. I get it. I totally get it. But hey, man, they're professionals. They get paid for do that.
Yeah.
But is there any award-winning winner between the Golden Boot? Well, the Golden Ball, of course, Roger got it. The Golden Boot, killing Pape, because of course he scored the most goal.
Mhm.
Some people might say that against the England game, like you just say, it was scripted. Maybe that shouldn't account. But either way, like the Golden Glove to a goalkeeper that basically didn't do much.
Mhm.
And because they won, of course, the winner get I think most of the awards. And the best young player, I think that they should give it to the young brother. I can't even pronounce his name, Paul. You got that. But there's anybody else that you think that's left out in these awards?
I think for the awards, I think that it was given to the right people in the sense that if the goalkeeper considered one goal, there's a reason why he considered one goal. Right. And if the Golden Gloves cannot go to the whole team, it has to go to somebody that actually considered the least amount of goals. And those are FIFA rules, so you cannot actually change those. Right. The keeper that kept more clean sheet wins the Golden Gloves. Like the EPL, the Arsenal goalkeeper kept the most clean sheets. So he doesn't mean that he made the most saves. He kept the clean sheet. So that goes to him. The young player of the tournament, he played almost every single minute of the game, and he was instrumental in the Spanish defense, conceding one goal. So he won it. That is great. There's no question. Where I have a problem with is the goal king, right? I think that because teams doesn't really compete in the third and fourth place, it became very easier for Mbappe to score those goals as compared to if England and France played in the final. Do you think that would have been the scoreline?
No, but you could say the same thing when Messi play against Algeria, playing against all these other teams.
No, those are competitive all the way because those were group stage games that takes you to the next round of the competition.
Gotcha.
So the competition was there. The only difference was that the Argentine team were a little superior to those people that they played in there. But still, if they had lost, they wouldn't have made it to the next round, right? So Messi got his goals from playing in the group to get out of the group. That is fair. That is understandable. But in the third and fourth place game that you watched, let's be honest now, do you think that if this game was even a friendly game outside the World Cup, that would have been the scoreline?
I would say no, because I get it. But you don't make up your matchup. You know what I'm saying? You are who you play against.
Do
And
you
then we
think?
heard that all.
No, let me ask it this way. Do you think, look at the English first half goals. Do you think that is how the French team, any French game that you have watched, the first half was probably the worst that we have ever seen a French team show up. We can agree on that. The
Yeah, I
second
agree.
half is the second half, the first 40 minutes, let me put it that way, was probably the worst the English team will ever show up in any game. Do you agree with that?
I agree. Maybe they were tired. Maybe they just didn't show up
Let's
because
put it
they're
that
not
way,
a
that they were
substitute. Maybe
tired.
they were. Yeah,
So,
you know. So
don't you think that gave Mbappe an advantage over Messi?
I think Mbappe did well throughout the whole tournament. I'm not taking his golden boot
No,
away from him.
I'm not taking his goals away from him, but I'm saying that one game is what put him over Messi. It's just that one game.
So if it was tied based on who Messi has faced and scored his goal against, if it was tied at 8-8, do you think Messi still would have deserved one of the golden boot?
I think so. I think that
All right, let me just tell you the games that Messi has scored against. Algeria, Austria, Jordan, and Cape Verde and Egypt. And Mbappe did against Morocco.
That is not
Who was
how.
it?
That
No,
is
no, I'm just saying. I'm
goals.
not saying
No.
this is how you because we're talking about that competition. What the third place game against England, right? Because it was not a competition based on one of the worst games we've ever seen. The first 40 minutes for France, first after 40, another 40 minutes of England nonsense, a 20-minute basically, because France scored 3 goals in 20 minutes or so, if I'm not mistaken. So when you look at it, does it matter who you play and who you score your goals against, right?
No. It matters with what is at stake with those.
Gotcha.
So Messi could have scored more goals against Jordan, right? But they didn't start him because they had already qualified, even though he came in to score the free kick, right? So he could have actually scored more goals against Jordan, but he didn't play. He didn't start the game. He played about 20 or something odd minutes. But in the third and fourth place game, they were not even trying. As I said earlier, the French team didn't make a single tackle, or they made less than 2 tackles in the first half of the game. Where have you seen a French team done that?
I understand, but that's what we're talking about. If this goal was 8-8, the only team that probably France have faced or whatnot that Mbappe scored against, you would say like, oh, okay, you know what's going on here? Maybe it might be Iraq. But every other game when they play is actually a team that's way better than the team that Messi play against.
No,
and it's
I do agree with that conversation, and I do agree with that argument from coming from that standpoint. But every game, all the way to the third and fourth place, was a competitive game. If Messi hadn't scored the goals against Cape Verde would. Argentina would have gone home, correct? If he hadn't scored the goal against Egypt, they would have gone home, correct?
But it's still Egypt. It's not against Norway.
Yes.
It's not against Senegal. It's not against Morocco. It's not
that,
against.
That I understand and I agree
It's
with
not
you.
against the word Paraguay coming out to play. Well, there was a PK, but
I do agree with you. But the stakes of those games were different. That means that the competition were different. The competition with at the point where they played Cape Verde was at a higher stake than the third and fourth place game. Even though Cape Verde was not considered a top 10, top 20, top 30 team. right? But if you look at it from that standpoint and you are going, okay, Mbappe scored the goals against top heavy teams, then I'll flip the argument to you and ask you, just look at the third and fourth place game. Just look at it and ask yourself, at what point would you see both teams perform like this again? At what point?
I agree on that, right? That's
Uh-huh.
why I say if you remove the 2 goals he scored against the third place
Uh-huh.
game against England, and it's still 8-8, right? And then probably still got 4 assists, and Messi got 8 goals, and also I think 4 assists, if I'm not mistaken. But Messi played in the finals where he didn't show up at all,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I still think that Mbappe should have been the Golden Boot.
I
I know
think
Messi. I'm not saying that would have happened, but FIFA probably would have given it to Messi anyway. But
Mhm.
I'm glad. I am glad that Argentina has zero award in this tournament because they didn't even deserve some of the way that the antics that comes with them. You know,
That-
everything else is like they don't even care about the war exists. All they care about is Argentina. This is what I've seen Argentina as in this, especially in the finals. Dude, when you lose and you're such a sore loser, the way you are, man, and then you mentioned it earlier.
that is
Who
the
is the leader?
disappointing part. I
Right.
was very,
It's a
very disappointed in the way they responded, because given that they've won 3 major tournaments or 3 major competitions prior to this one, and just losing in overtime and you responded like this, that was very disappointing. And to me, what even is worse is the FIFA governing body that actually enabled them to be doing that, right? But I am not going to take anything away from what Messi did as a 39-year-old player with
I
what
agree.
he did, coming in and carrying his team. And we can look at it from any angle that we want to look at it. The reason why people had the argument for him to win the golden ball was because he was the difference in every single game after their group stage, every knockout game. He was the difference for his team, regardless of the team that they played against, right? We say they played against a Cape Verde that is like a subpar team. He was the difference. Against Egypt, he was the difference. Against Switzerland, he was the difference. Against England, that everybody thought, because they played these weaker teams all the way to the semifinals, he just needed 10 minutes to show the English team who was the best player on the field. And
Yeah, stop, man. Now you going too
that
far
10
now,
minutes,
bro.
that 10 minutes was the best 10 minutes that you will see an individual player. And you know me, I'm not even a fan of Messi.
Wait. So you telling me that 10
Mhm.
minutes that the way England fall apart in that 10-minute span compared to the third place game, what's really is the difference?
Is the difference. See, what happened is that Messi played 10% of the whole tournament. And that 10% that he played was the peak performance than every individual player in the tournament.
Because Argentina always got the 12th man. The referee, the 13th.
And whether they got the 12 man, to me, the semi, he didn't, even in the final, right? In the final, when Spain scored the first goal, and I think it was 115th minute, that Argentina started pressing them. Even with that, everybody that was watching the game thought Argentina is going to score. There was going to be the Messi moment. Even with that, everybody was
To me,
looking for that Messi moment
I agree.
in
Yes,
that
because Messi,
final 5 minutes.
we're not taking it away from him. He's one of the greatest ever played the game. Somebody said the greatest that ever done it.
Mhm.
I get it, you know. But in that finals alone, man, if you thinking that you're just gonna come out there in this last minute after whenever you guys down, that's when you guys gonna show up who you are, blah blah blah. Man, that was a disgraceful game for Argentina. So there's
It
no
was.
way we could give any kind of credit to how Messi did whether they was gonna score or not. It was a disgraceful final because of Argentina.
I
Because
am
Spain come out to
agreeing
play.
with you. I am just saying that if you are looking at it, and this has been a main argument for every time even in the NFL, NBA, they go with the MVP, and they try to slice it in the different ways and look at it from the standpoint of how impactful were you to your team, because you are looking at the most valuable player, right, in the tournament on your team, in the games that you played. How impactful were you? So people look at it from the standpoint of, if you take this player out of his team, who is that team?
Same thing you could say about Spain. That's what Roger winning.
That is true.
There's
But
no question
on the
about that.
Spanish
If you take
team,
Roger out of that middle, then
on the
who?
Spanish team, you could have 5 players, 5 different players that could have been the best players on the Spanish team. 5. You could have every single game they had.
When we look at the body of work of the performance, though, right? If you take Roger out, like you say, the reason why they only concede 1 goal is because they got this guy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what I should call him, a defensive midfielder, what I should call him, number 8.
Hey, the
or whatever
goalkeeper
he
was
wants to do.
there. They conceded 1 goal. 2, center back, Laporta and Krubasi. They were there. They are the reason why. You can look at it from the standpoint of their offense, how they keep the ball. You could look at everything in Spain and say you can have 5 guys on their team that could actually could be in your conversation. If you look at the players, the team of the tournament, look at it. They have about 4 guys.
Take me back. I get what you said, because you said this last episode. Take me back to last episode when you mentioned this, right? Argentina strikers, what club did they play for as the starters?
They play for Atletico Madrid and they play for Inter Milan. Yeah.
Inter Milan, right?
Yeah.
They still got a ball player. Enzo played for Chelsea.
Yeah.
Macalester played for Liverpool.
Yeah.
That's already what, 5 players?
Yeah.
Right?
Huh?
So they still do got players as capable of doing the work, because they do it in the club level.
So why didn't they do it for Argentina?
Game plan, who they playing for?
That is the point I'm trying to make.
But who are they playing for that get them not able to be themselves?
So now it's his fault that they are not able to be themselves. Same thing
that you heard people say about Cristiano Ronaldo, right? If you take Cristiano Ronaldo out of there, these players will be themselves. They'll be more free. Look what happened when Cristiano Ronaldo was subbed out against Croatia. The substitute come in and score a goal because they finally decided to put the ball in the box. Yes, Cristiano Ronaldo is 40+ years old. But you mentioned the same thing earlier. If it wasn't for Messi, based on the body of work, he still would have been in that game. So I think the answer will be no.
That is my point.
Even some of the games when Argentina fall back, but they concede early or whatnot, right? I know we're gonna see Messi's magic. Okay, cool. But do you think that probably this also could be a controversial kind of conversation? You think now if Messi wouldn't been on the field, do you think Argentina would have been conceded goals so early?
That is also another question. That if Messi wasn't on the field against Spain, would they have got 11 players defending and 11 players helping the team out and preventing Spain from keeping the ball? That is another argument that you can look at, because Messi was non-factor when the Spanish team had the ball. So they were playing 10v9 in the middle of the field. And Spain actually exposed that. They always had that one man that was free to get the ball, right?
Yes.
So that could be an argument. What I am trying to say is, if you look at the body of work from beginning of the tournament all the way till the final, who was more valuable to their team in terms of moving on to the next stage of the competition? Who is the single player that carried their team, that made the difference, whether it's 1 minute, whether it's 3 minutes, whether the team was down to the next level or the next round? So when you're looking at it, take it from the Cape Verde game. He scored the first goal. He was instrumental in the game-winning goal, right? Now you take the Egypt game. He tied the game, right? And he was instrumental in bringing the team back from the 2-0 down. You could say he didn't play the whole game. He was in the game. The game is 90 minutes. He just needed 5 minutes to bring a magic. He did that. You look at the Switzerland game, right?
Let's fast forward to England quick.
Fast forward that to England.
Let me fast forward to England. The mental breakdown that England has at the end.
Why?
Right?
What happened?
What happened? That's England's self-sabotaging England, which is cool. But whenever that Argentina concede early, or they'll go down, or they got to make this run. What does all these 5 players become? They become themselves. Enzo equalized against England. That Enzo become a football player.
How did that happen?
Wait, England, right? Wait. So Enzo become Enzo now, right? He's no longer got to worry about just playing for Messi. Now I got to play with you. so I could show myself. Because Messi didn't tell him to take that shot outside the box. He could have still passed the ball, but he said, now I could be free and do what I need to do, right? Martinez,
Oh.
whoa, Martinez, being a striker that he is, right? Of course, but I need you to put the ball in the hands because I'm here too. I'm also a star player. I'm also earning wages playing for Inter, right? So these players become who they should or who we know them as for the club level, which is the great players. So Argentina had the players. I don't like the fact people think Argentina doesn't have the body of work or the kind of players that they are. But they buy into a system because they don't have no choice but to buy into the system because Messi is the greatest. Same thing with criticize why.
So my question to you, if you take Messi out of the Argentine team, let's take him out, put him that side. Do you think this team would have gone to the final just with all the players that you have mentioned?
Argentina make it to the finals. There's a lot of things that comes with this final run. We see a lot of controversy.
Given the same circumstance, given the same circumstances that happen in the World Cup,
there wouldn't be the same circumstance because Messi can't be the getaway card if he's not there, right? I think that they would have lost. Just like if the referees of FIFA was not into supporting Argentina because of who the storyline is, like you mentioned last episode, who sponsored the World Cup?
It's Adidas.
Who's the face of Adidas in soccer?
Yeah, Messi. Yeah.
All right, so there's a lot of factors that comes with it. But I'm saying if you build, I'm not anything will happen in any given game, right? We understand that. But if you telling me that Argentina doesn't have players that's capable of playing the football with the right system to build for that team alone, not just the one player. You got to play for the one player. I still believe that Argentina would have compete because they have the attitude and they have the passion and also the most important thing is they had the same head coach for over 4 or 5 years now that knows these players, that know how to do, but they just went against a head coach that knows better. Everybody's a tough guy until they get punched in the mouth. And Spain, like you mentioned, they're young, but they're well disciplined, they're well coached, and they don't take that nonsense like the way England play right into Argentina's hand. And I think that also played a big factor. But to say that if Messi's not there, they would have made it to the finals, I'm not naive to say that. But I'm just saying Argentina still got a world-class players that just decide to buy in compared to the past when they have these others, Tavares and all these guys. These guys buy into play for Messi. When Messi's not doing his magic, they expect that. They expect that to happen. That's why they play on the door. Like you say, would Enzo would have done this with Chelsea? Probably not, because there's no getaway card for you. But Messi's magical. There's no doubt about that. But in this tournament, when you watch it overall, you watch every single game. What Messi did, I expect him to do that because he's great. But overall, the team has to play the way it fit Messi well. So all he has to do will just be his magic. And he could have saved him because now they went against a better head coach.
Yeah, I am not disputing what you are saying, right? I am just arguing on the just this one point of looking at the body of work or looking at the competition as a whole, right? And what the Argentine national team did from beginning of the competition all the way to the final. If you are looking at it from that standpoint and say who wins the golden ball of this tournament,
the golden ball, we know Roger deserves it. So we agree with that. But the golden ball.
Are you looking at it from the beginning of the tournament all the way to the end or just the final? That is one.
I'm looking at it from the beginning to the end, right? Another thing I could say right now, right? Would you, this is a question for you. Do you think that French defense or lack of creativity in the midfield also failed Mbappe?
No, Mbappe scored 10 goals. Or 8 goals till before the third and fourth place.
Right, but would you say that the midfield, the defense, because he scored goals, but a defense that can't defend, the way Argentina players play for Messi, right? Do you think that France failed Mbappe in that aspect of on the field, like what his defense?
No, I think they got beat by Spain, and that they couldn't do anything. There was nothing they could do. There was not, and that is the difference. That is the difference between the Messi and Mbappe, right? Spain was the superior team to every team. Spain literally beat every single team that they played against, but they didn't dominate them in scoring. Apart from that one game that they scored 4 or 5. Every game was very close. They made it seem like the other team is in the game. But no team was ever in a game against Spain. They drew against Cape Verde, not because they didn't dominate the game, but because they couldn't finish their chances. They run through their group. Against Portugal, they won 1-0, not because Portugal was really good. They won 1-0 because Spain couldn't finish their chances. Against France, after dominating every single team, couldn't even find a ball against Spain. So Spain was the superior team to everybody. So I wouldn't say that their defense didn't do what they had to do.
But when you compare this the French team, the way they set up, how they work, how they work together or whatnot, compare that to Argentina. Would you say Argentina got better identity than France? I mean, excuse me.
Yes. Argentina had an identity.
Right. So the two teams with identity basically make it to the finals, right? It was based on identity and what they wanted to do for each other.
Yes.
Correct. So when you look, now we're talking about a body of work throughout the whole tournament. Now, if you got Messi, which you don't have to put no shift in any other aspects except for get the ball and pass it to Messi because we know what he's capable of doing with the ball. Totally agree. He's magic. You know, that's just the natural talent that he's born with. And then you look at the French roster and how he's set up and how what is the French identity besides Mbappe scoring a goal or Dembele scoring a goal?
They really didn't have any.
They don't have any. So overall, Argentina is the better team.
Yes.
Than France.
Yes.
So when the guy says that, I mean, you know, you take Messi out. I think there's still going to be a team, but I'm not saying they will be that great because that's like taking LeBron James out of a team. No matter how old he is, man, LeBron, just his presence alone, based on what he's capable of doing, whether it's last year, whether it's 10 years ago, he's still LeBron James.
That is what I'm saying.
Argentina still has a team that's around.
Argentina has the team, but they wouldn't make it this far because what Messi did was be the difference maker between Argentina and any other team that they played apart from the final game. Right? If you look at the game I'm just taking the game against England. He wasn't getting the ball in the middle of the field, right? And what he did in the middle of the field was make an adjustment to what the English team were making. So he was making an adjustment to the English team's adjustment within the game. What did he do?
In the game.
He moved to the right side.
Why? Because James got subbed out, Declan Rice got subbed out, and then Thomas Tuchel decided to say, you know what?
That is what I call a player that reads the game and make an adjustment to hurt the other team or to bring his team with him to the promised land. And that is the difference between France team and Messi-led team. When France was not getting any ball against Spain, what adjustment did Mbappe make?
What did adjustment Mbappe make or what adjustment did DJ Deschamps
adjustment did Mbappe make? It is two different things. You can make an adjustment as a coach, that is one, and your
I see where you're going with this. I see where you're going with this because we ran out of time. So I see where you're going with this. But let me ask you this question. Mbappe might wear the number 10, but is Mbappe the number 10?
Who? You are asking if Mbappe is number 10?
He might wear the number 10 shirt, but is he a number 10? When you're talking about the number 10 on the football field, is Mbappe number 10?
No.
What's Mbappe's job?
Mbappe's job is to score, but
Messi's great. That's why he's compared to the top, one of the GOATs that ever played a game because he actually is the number 10 that know how to create.
But Messi is not the Messi of old that we knew him to be. Messi now is an old guy that picks his moment to shine, to outshine. And when he picks his moment, he is the best player on the field. One of the reasons why I am looking at the French team and I'm saying point fingers at Mbappe is that what was Mbappe's position when he was playing at Monaco and PSG? On the left side, right? That is where he caused a lot of his damage. So when the Spanish team stopped him from getting the ball in the middle, did you see him move to the left to create problems over there?
Why would he move to the left when he's the number 9? What happened to the guy? How do you take away from
that is the point that
But no, because this is total different games. Because in the England game, when the substitutes are made based on injury regimes or whatnot, right? If you notice, that's the same thing that some you might say, why in this Spain game, why Messi didn't decide to become a creator?
Because the Spanish,
Because the Spanish team wasn't dumb enough to do what Thomas Tuchel did.
he did that in the last 5 minutes. No, wait. The last 5 minutes of the game. You saw how much pressure they put on Spain, the Spanish team.
And why is that? Because the referees start calling the fouls that they wasn't calling throughout the whole game.
Wow,
Wait, they were getting free kicks in the box.
Who was?
Right or wrong, Argentina was getting free kicks in the box. Because Spain, all you hear, Spain was calling, there was a foul there, right by the, Argentina was selling this thing out to get the call so they could know that. They know for fact is that the only way we could score against Spain at this moment, it has nothing got to do about we moving the ball. It's that we having a free kick or corner and put the ball in the box. And you know, and I know, once the ball is in the air, there's no
anybody's ball. It could happen to
anybody's ball,
anybody.
right?
Yes,
Anything could happen. Argentina was playing the survivor game that every team was done throughout when they're down. Luckily, they were successful with that against the other team. Against England, the last goal that Messi assist, he was wide open. Nobody near him. And
why was that? Why was that?
Cramp and injuries, and then you mentioned it. Stone coming up from a head injury.
I did.
Yeah.
So you saw a 39-year-old against how old is Spence?
But that 39 years old, you just say he didn't have to do nothing the whole game but walk around.
That is the point I'm trying to make.
I have a guy at work, right? One of my team leaders, right? He come up to me and say to me, I was throughout the whole World Cup was so much hype, man. We were just like you mentioned earlier, man. The England versus France that was for Americans. He said I was so happy, man. I got myself ready for the finals. I got me a food. My wife was like, "This is not a Super Bowl. What are you doing?" He said, "Yeah, but I want to watch this." And then he was like, "All I see was just Messi just walking around, don't do anything."
Yeah,
because he was saving the energy. So don't tell me when a 39 years old that catching a cramp against a guy like, especially the boy from Tottenham, what's his name, Spence?
Spence, yeah.
Spence was he probably put 10 or 13 miles in his leg. What Messi had 1 mile throughout the whole game.
The reason why he was what Messi did was he looked at the whole field and said, "Okay, I'm not getting the ball in the middle. Now I'm going to be on the right side." Where Spence,
that was a coaching adjustment.
No, that wasn't a coaching.
He didn't do that against Spain. Why he didn't do that against Spain when they were down?
They were not getting the ball till the last 5 minutes. And if you look at the last 5 minutes, he came to the right side. That was when
he was taking a free kick.
No, you see why he got that shot that hit Marino's face, right?
That was not the ball. It was started with the movement, right?
Yes.
And no, I first of all, man, I don't want nobody to think that I'm taking Messi greatness away from my.
No, you are not.
Like,
nobody will ever do that.
I'm blessed enough to able to witness Messi, Ronaldo. Just like I did Zidane and Ronaldinho and R9. Like I'm blessed to watch this guy play. So, but this finals, bro. Everything that he didn't do on the field as 11 players collectively cost them a finals.
That is true. I'm not going to even argue that. But nobody will say that because he's Messi. The reason why nobody is going to say that is he carried their team all the way to the final. So nobody will say that. And the other thing is that you remember the last time I told you, one team has to play bad, but the only way you can play bad is if the other team force you to play bad. And that is what the Spanish team. I don't want people to take this away from the Spanish team. They were superior to every single team that they played against.
Because they played the game their way.
The games were not even close, but the scores were close. The game itself, the number of times that they were on the ball compared to the other team was greater than anything. It's every game they had over 60% possession of the ball if they were looking at it from that point. So there was nothing any team could have done to stop the Spanish team. And that is not taking anything away from them. Argentina didn't perform in the final, not because they couldn't play, because they were not getting closer to the Spanish boys.
Totally agree.
And that is the reason why Messi was non-factor in the game. Because he only come to play if Argentina has the ball.
Right. Now, I'm a defender, right? That's always gonna be my thing. Defend first. Imagine putting all that shift in playing, working your butt off, extra miles,
Uh-huh.
suffering for a guy. All you gotta do now when you get the balls, play magic that you didn't score no goal. Do you know how the hell I'm gonna look at you as, bro? What the hell's going on here?
I mean,
You
that's
know
all
what
he
I'm
does.
saying? So I get it. I get it. Messi did what Messi has to do.
Mm-hmm.
But man, but let's not also not take away from the antics that comes with Argentina and the rest of the other players.
I
Because in this finals, man, like you heard somebody say, "Oh, Argentina, the players let Messi down." No, they did not let Messi down. This is
They,
who they
they,
are.
they didn't. That is. I think that is where people start taking away from what the Spanish team did. And
Right.
I for one, I will not look at it from the standpoint of what Argentina didn't do. I will always look at it from the standpoint, like I said, in the French game, from what these guys are doing in Spain. And every single player, Spain came with a team. Every single player knew their role. So it doesn't matter who is on the field, who comes in, the substitution pattern. Everybody that comes in on the field understand what they were supposed to do.
Yep.
And they are the reason why France didn't have a good game. They are the reason why Portugal didn't have a good game. They are the reason why Argentina didn't have a good game. People are looking at it and they're going, "Oh, you are going to put a blame on Argentina for not playing well." Somebody needs to keep the ball away from you for you not to play well. It is one ball.
The only thing that affect Argentina more than France and the other teams, although they Portugal, although they all got dominated, is the fact that Argentina game plan was really to play the way they play, just to come out and to fight, just to come out.
That was
Yeah.
the only way they could play.
But- and that's something that like I probably respect them. They stick with the game plan,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a finals. It's about the win, and Spain did exactly what Spain always does, and they didn't shake. We mentioned how disciplined they are. I almost say this, bro. If Argentina would have won this World Cup, bro,
That would
football would
have
have
been
been.
that wouldn't have been
Man,
good.
bro, do you know? Do you know how many? Do you know how crazy the world, like, especially with the way they celebrate?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm so glad the football won. That's what this episode today is called, the football one.
I know.
And
I
we both
agree with
agree
you.
with that. So we are run out of time.
Hmm.
We can always continue this conversation again. It's a lot to talk about because this World Cup, man, I can't believe it's end, man. And congratulations to Spain to becoming the 2026 FIFA World Cup champion. Congratulations to every nation that
Yes.
give us
Yes. Yeah.
the unforgettable moments. And congratulations to all the African nations that show up here. They give what the best they had to give. Congratulations to Norway to
Mm-hmm.
bringing up the fans and everything else they've done. Brazil's always gonna be Brazil. And Japan, class act country. No matter where the World Cup is hosted, he could be hosting a religious state. They're still gonna be who they are. They
Still gonna
fit
be
in
who
no
they
matter
are.
where they go because this is what we want to teach our kids.
Yeah.
And of course, man, Spain, bro, like they teach us what football has always been about. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's about the teams, not about superstardom. The guy they called the superstar, the young brother, Lamine Yamal, he was not even the best player on the field, but
Yes.
he show up and do what he has to do. So
Yes.
congratulations to every nation, and I am so happy that I was able to attend the World Cup game. This is my dream to attend a World Cup game, and I did. So I am blessed. I am in debt to this sport, from refugee camp to here, everywhere you go, man. Like I've been in soccer, it's always been the sport that give me the peace that I want. Yeah,
Yeah.
playing it or watching it. So,
Yeah.
like, what is your memory? Like, what is your final take for the World Cup 2026 that just ended United States of America, man? Because for me, man, it's unbelievable.
To me, is showing America the other side of the world, right? One of the things that outside the game of soccer, one of the things that I think people benefit from when it comes to World Cup is the cultural experience from different countries. And also I see a World Cup as a way for people to learn the world that we live in. For instance, a team like Curacao coming to the World Cup, if you haven't heard about them before, you quickly go to look them up and see what country is this? Where are they located? Cape Verde. Where are they located? Now people know about Cape Verde. Now people know about Curacao. Now people know about the situation going on in Haiti. Now people understand everything about the other countries that played in the World Cup. So the World Cup is not just an event for soccer. it is a platform to highlight some of the things that are going on in the world and also to teach people about the cultural differences and how we can all coexist in the same place without cutting each other's throat. We can still we can still compete at the highest and highest of level and we'll still be friends, right? And that was my takeaway, and that has always been my takeaway when it comes to World Cup. And the reason why I get excited about it and I talk about it everywhere at work is to show people that there is another side of the world that we live in that sports can bring you. And if you are able to watch a game or if you are able to go to a game and witness how people from different sides of the globe connect, have fun, enjoy each other's presence, then you will understand that there is more to life than whatever that we are dealing with right now. When I look at it from the soccer perspective, I think the World Cup is the highest form of soccer that you will see. There's a reason why it is played every 4 years. There's a reason why teams have to go through what they have to go through. And if your team qualifies to the World Cup, you are all excited about it. And to me, being able to witness a live World Cup game was my bucket list that right now I have to cross it out. I saw a World Cup game. So it was a fulfilling moment for me. And the sad part is we have to wait for another 4 years
Yeah.
to experience it again. But I believe that it didn't, even if it didn't impact everybody, there are a host or a handful of people that now see the other side of the world. And there are people that are also, it challenged other people when it comes to the cultural differences that people experience all over the world, that you don't have to hate somebody because of their color or their culture. You can still dwell in their presence and still embrace them, even if they don't look like you, they don't talk like you, they don't worship like you, they don't sing like you, or they don't enjoy the same things that you enjoy. This beautiful game can bring all of us together. And that is the one thing that FIFA has always stressed and emphasized on, is that this is a beautiful game that brings people together. And I think it fulfilled that part of the 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 FIFA team or the FIFA song. Is it brought different people from different parts of the world together. And that is what I am always grateful for when it comes to the World Cup.
Well said, bro,
Yeah,
man. And damn, the World Cup is over with, bro.
it's over with now.
Man, and they special thank God. I mean, special thanks to all the cities that host,
Yeah.
the watch parties, the being around Colombian fans or Ecuadorian fans that just like you mentioned, man. Everybody just having a good time.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no watch party I've been to any big city that I've seen any crazy fights or any kind of stuff like that. Well,
Nothing.
until
Yeah.
Argentina lost. So,
Hey,
but
guess
man,
what?
well played, bro.
Guess what? The NFL players are going to go on strike because they now see they can be grass fields. They are going to go on strike. Like, hey, you guys can really have grass field for soccer?
Right, just one
Why don't
for
you
one
have it?
phone call.
Yes, yes.
Even the worst stadium with the final play in it, where
That
NFL
is
players hate it because they
that
get
is the
hurt.
power of soccer. That is the power of FIFA, that they can do it, but they don't want to do it. Yeah.
Yep, man. Yo, like and subscribe and see you guys next time, man. Thanks for watching Bala Sport George. It's a pleasure, man. Many
Same
more to
here.
come. Premier League
Yeah.
season is around the corner. The whole season is coming
It's
back.
coming
He's
up.
a
We
Manchester
can't wait.
United fan, but we don't worry about
Yeah.
that because, they're one and done anyway. But thank you, George. I appreciate you for being here, brother.
No problem. Bye, bro.